All right. Oh, wait, hold on. What day is this?
Oh man, we're throwing everybody off.
We are. It's Thursday. Why are we recording on a Thursday? I'll tell you in a moment. But welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is the man who was supposed to be the third man. Unfortunately, he backed out because it didn't work for him, brother.
I wasn't tan enough. And I also Mabel was also rumored to be the third man. I didn't want to get in the way.
Mabel.
1995 King of the Ring winner, Ryan.
That's right. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Doing all right. How about yourself? It's a little, we had a little wrestling shout out. We'll get into why later.
Man, it's been a whirlwind of a day for me, both at work and outside of work. I feel like I have whiplash.
Yeah, you were you were worried about QB1 this morning, but it looks like he's going to be all right. We'll get into that as well. But I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing some prep for something that you and I have up our sleeves, Ryan, for during the break. And I'm also putting off disassembling a desk. I really don't want to do that. How are you doing?
Like I said, it's a bit of whiplash today, but between work and QB1, the scary part about scary thing happened to QB1 today. A legend passing away as well during that whole thing, and then there were just kind of the aftermath from that. I'm just kind of trying to chill.
yeah.
Sports news knows no chill. But we're going to get into everything in just a moment. We're going to bring in our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson. We're going to talk about buyers and sellers at the trade deadline. Talk about ESPN in talks to possibly purchase NFL Network and Red Zone. Talk about my QB1 avoiding serious injury today. And we'll also pay tribute to the one, the only Hulk Hogan. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, please follow us on social media. Give us a follow on socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. Also, check out our other podcasts and written articles at BillyUpSports.com. And on the podcast side, you can find our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and on Podbean. I got to correct that graphic. And also, get notified. Hit that notification bell on Twitter, on YouTube. That way you know when live shows go up. That way you know when show clips go up. That way you know when general announcements go up as well. Also, on the podcast side, rate, review, comment. 5-star rating is helpful. You can leave a review on places like Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Good Pods, and also if you're listening on Spotify, you finally got it back this week. Leave a comment. Leave a comment on all episodes up to the present day and all the way through, even into our first iteration of No Credentials Required, when we came back, the rebirth in August of 2020. We're heading on 5 years already.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
5. Yeah.
And props to you, because I don't believe I joined the show until 2022. So you kept it going. Just like one of the former Rockford Peachers said to Mr. Ira Lowenstein at the end of the movie, "Since you kept the league going all those years, you do it." And she gives him the scissors to cut the ribbon at the wing. If we ever get into a podcasting Hall of Fame, Ryan, which I'm not that arrogant, I swear, I will give you the scissors to cut the ribbon, because you kept it going all those years.
Shucks. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And I mean, Time Magazine did name their top 100 podcasts of all time. By the way, Joe Rogan was not included, which is a damn shame, but we didn't make the list either. But hopefully someday we will. You don't know. Maybe they'll do a redux in 20 years. I mean, No Credentials Required will be on the 100. But anyway, we're usually live on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll explain what we're on tonight, though, and the occasional happy hour at 8 o'clock on Fridays. I'm a little tired right now. I'm kind of running on fumes, but you know what? This tune always seems to pick me up, Dustin. You know the tune.
Different time, different day, different time, but always still, it's chime time. I screwed up my own rhyme, everybody.
We got some comments in the comment section already. Desi from Alabama checking in saying, "What is today?" LOL. This says R.I.P. Hulkamania. Absolutely. Snowman checking in saying, "Snowman checking in, sports ball, baby."
What's up, Snowman?
Saying snowball. And Callie checking in from Snowman Multimedia. Thank you, Callie. Hey, if you're not subscribed already, Callie, hit that subscription button. We're trying to drive for 500. We want to get ourselves monetized and earn some cashola from that sweet YouTube money. But in all seriousness, we want to get to 500. We want to get people checking out more of our content so we can get monetized and do some cool stuff on here, because there's lots of content out there to be made, but very little time. And both Dustin and I and our guests coming up, we all work full-time jobs, so
we do.
So this is a part-time thing. It's kind of an extravagant hobby, but someday we want to make it full-time. It'll be fun.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. And you and Kevin, you are both busy men. I don't know how you do it all. I'm getting busier. Like I have to admit, I'm doing 3 shows a week now, starting in the football season. So,
hey, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and bring in our boy of summer. He is one of a many part of Belly Up Sports fantasy side for both football and baseball. He is our regular host, regular contributor for our show as well, as we cover baseball for the baseball season this summer. We'll transition to full-time football when football comes, but for now we're going to talk about the American pastime. We're bringing in our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson. Kevin, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing great over here, guys. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I know it's not Friday, but it's happy hour over here, because you know why?
Hey,
why is that?
Today is National Tequila Day.
Oh, all right.
Okay. And because that's true, we, okay, we've got our margaritas going on right there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A cherry lime margarita happening right now. So we are a party mood over here, and so we're just happy as can be, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you, and thanks for adjusting your schedule for us tonight.
Yeah,
appreciate
it.
And
thanks for the margarita. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, come on down.
Hey,
we've got plenty, so let's get this rolling here.
All right, we'll be there in a matter of 24 hours.
Start up the car, Ryan.
That's right.
Start the No Crutches Required mobile.
Yeah.
Desi saying, Kevin! So she's happy that you're here. All right, so our primary topic for this special edition of Saturdays with Kevin, we're talking Major League Baseball trade deadline, which is coming up in a week.
A week from today.
A week from today, to be approximate. We're going to talk about buyers and sellers for this trade deadline. And if let me look at the Major League Baseball standings as of right now. We're looking at first place in the American League East. Toronto leads the Yankees by 4 games. They lead Boston by 6, followed by Tampa and Baltimore. In the Central, Detroit's lead has now shrunk to 8.5 games over Cleveland, who have surged recently as of late, although they lost last night.
And they lost earlier today too, as well.
Oh, earlier today. Okay, they lost earlier today. That's why I meant earlier today. Like I said, it's been. I have whiplash from today, Kevin.
Okay. So we'll ease you in.
Thank you. I could use a neck rub and a margarita. In the AL West, Houston is up on Seattle by 6 games, followed by Texas, the Angels, Los Angeles. The California Angels. I'm not going to call them.
There we go. Okay.
Going to call them the California Angels, followed by the Homeless Athletics in last place. NL East is the tightest race in baseball, as the Mets lead the Phillies by half a game, followed by Miami. Thanks, Miami.
I told you they had some pitching. If they could ever put offense together, they wouldn't be so bad.
Well, Miami was my pick to lose 100 games this year. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the race to the wooden spoon.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
we don't need to get into that. So.
No, we don't. Then Atlanta, followed by Washington. NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers are in first place in the NL Central. They have come all the way back seemingly to catch up to the Cubs. They lead the Cubs by a game, followed by Cincinnati, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh. And the NL West is an interesting place to be right now. Los Angeles Dodgers lead the Padres by 4.5, followed by San Francisco. Arizona starting to fade. And then Colorado, well, it was nice to know you. In terms of the wild card, the Yankees hold the first wild card spot in the American League, followed by Seattle and Boston. Right at the cutoff line is Tampa Bay, Texas, and Cleveland. While in the National League, the Milwaukee Brewers hold the number one, have the best record in the league, which is incredible considering where they were back in April. Followed by the Dodgers and Mets. Then the first wild card spot belongs to the Cubs, followed by the Phillies and the Padres, the Giants, and somehow the Cincinnati Reds are in discussion for wild card. They're 2.5 back.
Man, I didn't see that coming either.
I didn't see that coming. So, and thanks, Dizzy. Dizzy says, "I'll make a margarita, Ryan. Dustin, you gotta do a neck rub."
I can't speak to the quality of the neck rub. I don't know.
And then Dizzy says, "Kevin needs to share that margarita."
I said, here it is. Come on down.
We're a little jealous. So, judging from the standings, Kevin, and we know you have some thoughts about the standings and also about the trade deadline and who's going to be buyers and who's going to be sellers. But let's get your sellers, or not your sellers, your buyers first. Which teams of the division races and the wild card races do you think will definitely be buyers by the trade deadline?
Well, the team, of course, everybody knows I'm a Dodger guy. And so the Dodgers are going to be buyers. The Mets, the Phillies, the Cubs, and the Tigers, because they're struggling, as you mentioned, they need to make a move. So those teams right there are going to be your major buyers this year.
I got to say, a lot of Yankee fans feel that the team needs to do something. And
yes, Yankees.
But in your opinion, are they good enough to be buyers?
The Yankees, sure they are, because this happens every year. The Yankees, slide a little bit, and people freak out, and then they get okay, and they're hot on the list of a certain player, which we'll get into. A bunch of other teams are as well, but I think the Yankees are going to make a move. They're the Yankees; they got to make a move, and because we see, because Toronto is the full package.
Yeah.
And because they just got done playing the Yankees once again and beat them 2 out of 3. So
yeah,
if they want to get where they want to go, they need to get a little injection going on right there. And because if they don't, then Toronto's might just take the division. I still like the Yankees, though, and because to win a division. I'm not a Yankees guy, never can be, never could be, and all that. But they've got the money and everything else, so the Yankees are going to make a move. They need to. Max Fried's got that blister and didn't look good in his last couple starts, so they need to shore up that starting rotation. And so they need to make a move, no question in my mind.
And I guess before I have you jump back in, Ryan, the other question I have is Boston. Is Boston good enough to make a move? Because they've kind of surged a little bit. They got some of the young talent coming up.
I have a response to that.
Okay.
Play that PSA.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
That one's for our tribal chief, who was our guest on Tuesday.
Yes.
that always hits right in there. So, because it wasn't that long ago, I was all up Boston's rear end because I thought they made a huge bungle of the whole, Devers play and everything. But ever since he's been off the team, they've been better.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure if I'm ready to buy in on them just yet. And it'll be interesting if they decide that they're going to be buyers or not. Because, like you said, they're right there. And but they made their trade already. And it's funny because, Devers got over there to San Francisco. Oh, yeah, I'll play first base. No problem.
I'll play
And,
wherever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, so you talk about poking them, Boston right in the eye.
Oh yeah.
And so Boston is they could go either way to me. It's just depending on how they feel about their team, and all these teams need to make this decision, because like I said, it's 1 week. And I think there's going to be a flurry of moves. And so I'm really interested to see how this works out.
My issue with the Yankees, and this has been happening ever since George passed on and Hal has taken over at the helm of chairman of the board for the Yankees. Back when George was alive, he gave I almost said Cartman, Cashman.
Hey guys.
Hey Steve, guys, I gotta get this there. I don't care what it costs. But he gave Cashman carte blanche. He said, do what you need to do. If we need to trade prospects, we'll trade prospects. If we need to trade players who are currently on the team, we'll trade players who are currently on the team. He showed no mercy when they traded Wells for Clemens back in 1999 before spring training got started. It was an unpopular move, but won him a title.
Yeah.
So
because Boomer Wells beloved as a Yankee,
yes,
beloved,
and still beloved as a Yankee.
Yes,
and he still notes that his time with the Yankees were some of the best years of his career. But it just seems like ever since Al took over as chairman of the board after George passed on, and his brother Hank also passed on, he was no longer involved in the team because he passed away a few years ago too. It seems like they've been holding back. Like Hal doesn't seem to be obsessed with winning like George is. He's more obsessed with the bottom line. And this has hampered the Yankees' ability to go out and get that stud right-handed pitcher that they always seem to get at the trade deadline. Always seems to miss out on getting those bats that they need at the trade deadline. And that's why they haven't won a championship since 2009. They got close last year. They were absolutely pulverized by the Dodgers in 3 out of the 4 losses that they had in the World Series. But it just seems to me that Hal is saying to Cashman, okay, do what you need to win, but let's just try to keep it under a certain amount. Does that seem like it's fair? Does that seem of a fair critique to the both of you?
It does. And it's hard to believe because this is the Yankees we're talking about, but they're concerned with the bottom line. But 40,000 show up every game, whether it's a Tuesday night, right, or whatever it is. They get the fans in there, and so we're going to find out, I think, real soon if the Yankees are serious or not. Because there's one player I have in mind. If they land this guy, they're serious. If they don't, then maybe not so much.
Which guy are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have a need at third base. And he's going to get traded. I saw a picture of him yesterday. He was his last game in Arizona before the trade deadline, and he was sitting there looking out at the field. As he knows, he's got his bags packed. It's just a question of where he winds up. And like I said, if the Yankees are serious, because a few years back, they would have him.
Yeah,
anybody else could sit there and bid or whatever else. The Yankees would land him. But so we'll know the next time we get together. We'll know whether the Yankees are serious or not.
Well, if we're looking for a third baseman, yes, they need a solid third baseman. They need a veteran. And St. Louis is only 3.5 back of the wild card, but they're still 52 and 51. They're hovering over that Mendoza line in terms of their record. And Nolan Arenado was seen at Yankees camp, just chopping it up with a couple players. You have to think that Nolan Arenado is saying to his general manager, "Look, like I want to win a title before I retire." And Nolan Arenado is arguably the best third baseman, both offensively and defensively, of this current iteration of just current generation of ball players, could we see a Nolan Arenado in a Yankee uniform? Because we know he has that relationship with Goldie, with Paul Goldschmidt, with his time in the Cardinals.
They could, and that's all in his basket, because he can reject any deal he wants. And so this has been going on with him since spring training.
Yeah.
Whether or not they were going to trade him or not, does he want to be on the team or not? And St. Louis is playing probably better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be, like you said, 2 games or 3 games above 500 isn't going to get it done.
Yeah, they're the St. Louis Rams under Jeff Fisher in the later years. Right now. They're pushing 500.
Yeah, and that was going to be. It's almost like we've hosted together, Ryan, for a while, because I was going to ask about the Cardinals because they were surprising everybody. Nobody thought they were going to be there, but they've lost like 5 straight now, and they're starting to like slide. So I was like, are they sellers? Are they buyers? What are they? But I'm going to say something controversial here, and I'll see if either of you agree with me. At this stage of his career, I love Nolan Arenado, and I love his defense, but his numbers offensively dipped a little bit once he left Coors Field. And at this point, I'd rather have Eugenio Suarez.
I would as well. The man is supersonic right now. And I've always liked, and you could ask Vince about this, I've always liked Eugenio Suarez. And I really liked him in Arizona.
Yeah.
And if he gets traded, one of the things we need to be, because where he plays now plays right to his strength. If he goes to New York, then that's no longer the case. Seattle wants to reacquire him. If he goes there, that's not to his strength as well. So I really like him, but I would like it if he stayed on Arizona as far as fantasy is concerned. His numbers are concerned. Better in Arizona than anywhere he could get traded, but I would still certainly take him. This guy's got bombs going off. If he just cut down the strikeouts, then he'd be super value. But as it is, I like him a lot, but I won't like him as much. Wherever he gets traded to is not going to be tailored as much to his strength as it is now.
My only concern is if the Yankees are looking at Suarez, any deal that they're going to try to get a player at maximum value who can help their team immediately, any trade is going to involve any offer is going to be countered with, hey, who's that left-handed stud who swings like Aaron Judge, who's currently hitting 13 home runs in AAA right now in 19 games, Spencer Jones.
Yeah.
That's my only concern, because I think they want to keep him around and have him and Judge be the back to whenever Stanton decides to leave or is traded or has his contract bought out, they're going to bring up Jones, because Jones started his season in Double-A in Somerset, was knocking the cover off the ball, got called to Triple-A, and he hit 3 home runs today.
Yeah,
in Wilkes-Barre Scranton.
Yeah,
that's my biggest concern.
He's a candidate for a September call up for sure. I would think.
Undoubtedly for sure. And hopefully if the Yankees stay where they are, maybe they bring him up as a September push to try to overtake Toronto in first place. But that's my only concern, is that any elite player out there who hasn't even reached their prime yet, but is still considered a very good player for his value, they're going to want to say, we want Spencer Jones in return.
Valid concern, I think. Valid.
I think so. And what if somebody brings up the name of Jason Dominguez?
There have been possible talks of him being dealt, although I don't know. I'd have to look into see if the alien. I mean, this is his first full season. This is his first full season in the majors, so he's got time to simmer. But I think his name will also be another name I'm concerned about moving is Jason Dominguez. He's still raw, but he's got his bat.
I like him. I like him a lot. Yeah. I've liked him since before he even played this year.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's my concern. But
so I get that concern that you have, but if the Yankees want to make a move, they're going to have to package somebody that you're going to hate to have to get rid of.
that's true. That's true. And I'm pretty much certain. I'm pretty certain Yankee fan will lose their mind if either Jones or Dominguez goes
Yeah.
to bring somebody in. But besides the Dodgers, besides the Yankees, besides maybe possibly Boston, could you see Toronto maybe getting a right-handed pitcher, a right-hander as to pitch, or maybe another bat at the deadline? You already got some pretty good players hitting the ball right now, including Vlad Guerrero Jr. But maybe they need another bat. Do you think they try to make a deadline?
They're curiously, because they're in first place, they're the one team that I've heard nothing floated up about them.
Interesting.
And I think that as they are right now is pretty much about as complete a team as they're going to be able to get, because they're not going to want to trade any of their players that they have on their roster. They're not going to want to trade some of their farm guys or whatever. They may make a move, but I think that they're happy with the team that they have. They're demonstrating that they're good enough to do it. So if they didn't make a move, I would not be surprised. And depending on if they made a big move, I would be surprised.
Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. Doesn't Toronto's current GM kind of have a reputation of like a stand pat GM? He doesn't go out and make like a bunch of moves. I'm trying to think of his name right now. It's escaping me. I might have to do some real time research, but I'm not
doing it now.
I'm not as fast as Ryan has it, but I feel like I've read somewhere or heard that he
Atkins.
He's conservative. I've heard.
Yeah, Ross Atkins is the GM of.
Yeah, he's got to be conservative, because right now you could have tortured me to death and I wouldn't have came up with that name.
I was going to say Alex Anthopoulos, and I knew that wasn't right. I knew. No. He's been relieved of his duties.
Could the Cubs? I wonder. I also got a question, since they're it's one of the hottest division races in Major League Baseball, especially actually two of the hottest divisional races in baseball: the National League East, National League Central, especially as of late. Do we see the Mets, Phillies, Brewers, and Cubs make a trade at the trade, make a significant swing at the trade deadline? Because I've heard the Mets being linked to Suarez as well.
The Cubs are the team that I've heard the most about wanting to make a move, and their name has been also linked to Eugenio Suarez, even though they've got a guy at third that started off really rocky and he got sent down and came back up, and he's looked better, but he's not Eugenio Suarez.
Yep.
And so they're going to because the Cubs are going to make some kind of a move. I think they're more concerned about their starters and their bullpen a little bit because they want to bring in some guys there. But the Cubs are certainly going to make a move, and it'll be interesting who they hook up with and what they decide is going to be their number one need, because they may not have the prospects though as some of these other teams. So Eugenio Suarez may be off there. They want him. I think. Well, anybody would want him, but I don't think that they've got the people that really would interest Arizona in the trade.
All right. So, and I mean, the Brewers, they always have that small market reputation, but I view them, and I'm not, I know Vince is a Brewers fan, but I don't have the knowledge about that team. But I don't know if you feel similarly, Ryan, but I kind of view the Brewers as like the Rays of the NL. They find a way to get it done in spite of their like the latest is Brandon Woodruff has come back, and even though his velocity dipped on his fastball, he's still good. Yeah,
as soon as they brought up that kid Mizorowski, the Miz,
right?
That's when the streaks. That's when they got hot. As soon as they brought him up, he's throwing heat. That kid throws heat, and as soon as they brought him up, they started winning.
The amazing thing about the Brewers is that they have the ability to determine if a player is about to step off the cliff, and they move on. Like Devin Williams is a prime example of that. Right? I hate to jab in the needle on that one. And so
twist the knife on that one.
Because they make moves and they get a guy like what's his name, Priester.
Oh yeah, Quentin Priester.
Quentin
I think.
Priester. Okay, he's pitched extraordinarily well, as you mentioned, the Miz and Woodruff. He's looked extremely good, and and you would have thought that and I won't speak his name because I don't want Vince to have his brain explode or anything. But he goes down to the Cubs, and then
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean, as the biggest stab in the back that I can recall.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a Milwaukee player and
Yep.
everything else, and won with the team. But they bring in Murphy as their manager, and he's one of those guys. He makes the right moves. He puts his bullpen in position to win, and the Brewers are. Look at the guy that came. They wanted to put him in the bullpen, and he said, "Well, I don't want to do that." And they're like, "Okay, fine." And they sent him to the outpost that is the Chicago White Sox.
Oh man.
And they brought in Andrew Vaughn, who I was like, he's not even in the major leagues. And Vince was like, just watch this guy. And they called him up, and he's had some big hits for them. So I don't think the Brewers are a team that to make a move. They're going to cool off. There's no way they could win 12 out of 15 the rest of the way. But the question about them, though, is you mentioned it. They're like the Rays. They get to the playoffs, but they don't get to the ultimate where they want to go. Last year being a prime example, they were 1 out away from winning that first round series, and we know what happened.
Yeah.
But I think that Milwaukee's pretty much a lock at this point for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens between them and the Cubs and the Reds, they bubble up and then they bubble down just as fast. So I'm not believing in them. The Cardinals, they still got to show me something, but that's a much heavier division, if you will, than I thought it was going to be. I thought the NL West, and to a degree it is, but Arizona is the most disappointing other than Baltimore team, because I thought, and when we talked about this, that if we were going to make a bet before the season began, that, other than the obvious teams, that I thought Arizona, you bet on them, you put $10 down and they win the World Series, you won $30,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of cheddar. And
It
lucky
is.
we have an Arizona fan in our Discord, and lucky for him, Ryan and I did not pick them because we both picked Baltimore to go to the World Series against your Dodgers, Kevin. And we've seen what happened. We've seen what happened to the Baltimore Orioles.
We have apologized to the city of Baltimore multiple times.
I'm staying away from Lamar Jackson this year. I'm not making any predictions about him.
And that wasn't an easy prediction, because as a Dodger guy, I'd rather see Arizona just go off the cliff.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much as I would like the Padres or the Giants to go off the cliff, but I thought they were going to have an excellent, and their offense has been every bit of it. The pitching has, they've had injuries and everything else, but they don't win at home. That's the real shocker when it comes to Arizona. And that's the reason why they're in the position that they are, because they're okay on the road, but you need to be better than okay at home, which they're not. And so Arizona's a big seller. Pittsburgh is, of course, a seller. Miami is a seller. Minnesota's an interesting team because 2 years in a row they've won, 11 or whatever, 13 in a row, whatever it was.
Yeah, they fell off a cliff after that happened.
Both times they've done that. And so Minnesota could package half their team out of there. And Duran, their closer, you can close the door on him. And the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers are going to sweep in there and get him, because they signed all these guys. Tanner Scott was not looking good, and he's hurt now anyway. And so the Dodgers ERA is 11th in the National League. That's not going to get it done. Their offense, of course, has had some issues too, but it's been good enough to win games. But their pitching has not, and we know pitching wins in the postseason, and they don't have it right now.
Yeah. It's for Arizona, it's disappointing, but hey, that's baseball, Susan.
That's baseball. That's
Susan.
baseball. And Pittsburgh and David Bednar, their relief pitcher, he's better have his bags packed.
Yeah, he could go somewhere. Bednar got sent down to the minors earlier in the year, if I remember, but he's turned it around now.
He's turned it around big time, and he embarrassed me in a large amount because I was like, yay, I drafted him. Then he sent him down to the minors, and I'm like, well, you got to drop this guy. Then he comes back up, and he's been on fire ever since. So he's made a liar out of me twice in 1 year. So, but
I drafted
he's going to get
Bednar
traded.
and dropped him.
Send him to the Shadow Realm, Kevin. Send him to the Shadow Realm.
That's right. And Sandy Alcantara is going to get traded. He pitched pretty well this week. He's looked really awful earlier, but he's made a couple of decent starts. So he's on his way out.
He's showing his stuff before he gets traded. He played terrible for the first part of the season.
Oh, yeah.
After the All-Star break, he's like, I'm going to start pitching again because I know I'm going to get traded.
Well, and here's a little inside joke if you watched our baseball preview show. Ryan, if he does get traded to the Cardinals, have the Rystradamus drop ready because you predicted that one way back.
I thought he actually went to the Cardinals before the season began, but whatever.
I can see him getting traded. It's not to the Cardinals, though.
Yeah,
so I think you're safe.
I think he gets traded out of Toronto or the damn Dodgers.
Tell us how you really feel.
Because they're signing everybody. All right, before we dismiss Kevin and let him have his happy hour with the missus with his margaritas, a couple of comments in the comment section, and then we have something kind of fun to close his time out. So Desi says that Wise always throws out the wisdom that he does. F Boston. She also says Dustin, keep away from Baltimore. I have the Ravens getting back to the Super Bowl.
I told you I won't make any predictions about Lamar Jackson or the Ravens at all until
our preview show on September 2nd. Tune in then.
Wow, that gives you some time to plan that into your itinerary.
That's gonna be a large part of our time off because we're getting a 2-week break in August. So that'll be part of my time off. And Dustin's brother-in-law, Nick, saying rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. We're gonna talk about him in just a few moments, Nick. So stick around, man. But before we let Kevin go, he was texting with Dustin yesterday about what we wanted to do for the show. And he came up with a pretty cool idea as a tribute to arguably the greatest heavy metal musician of all time, Ozzy Osbourne. So, Kevin, what was your idea?
My idea was, if you were a pitcher or a hitter, what song of Ozzy's would you select to be your introduction? And I thought that would be an interesting thing to dive in a little bit into his musical repertoire and see what we come up with. And so I'm really interested to see where we land on this.
Okay. Dustin, have you lead off.
All right.
I got two. Thought about it or not.
Oh, I did. I got 2 picks right in the chamber, so I'm ready to go. As I mentioned in the tribute to Ozzy that we did with Wise the other night, I'm picking No More Tears because of that bass line that starts out. That's why I'm picking it, because the walk-up song, you get a short little clip, and I realize No More Tears might be a surprising answer based on where the song goes later, but I'm telling you that bass line, that sound, I want to walk up to the plate to that. My alternate pick, if I had to have one, Over the Mountain, no question, Over the Mountain. It opens with a crazy drum fill, and the guitars get right into it. So I'm doing, those are the 2 for the walk-up song. I'm not doing Crazy Train. In my opinion, it's played out. Mm-hmm. You were kind enough to shout out that I have a music degree. I got to go a little off board. I can't just be going Crazy Train. Can't pick the obvious ones. I pass it to the next in line.
All right, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm passing on Crazy Train, obviously, because it's played out. Same with Bark at the Moon. I think it's a little played out as well. Mm-hmm. My favorite Ozzy song is Shot in the Dark, but that doesn't really it's not really catchy for a walk-up song or as a pitcher.
It's a shot that's a home run.
That's true, but I relate more to hockey than I do baseball.
Okay.
So my pick, and I learned how to pitch in my early 20s. I wanted to play Twilight baseball in local leagues. Didn't get a chance to, but I learned how to throw, and I learned how to throw effectively. So if I was coming out of the bullpen, my walk-up song would be Road to Nowhere.
Okay.
I was
That's
looking at that. I was. That's a great song. That is.
And it's because of the chorus. The road to nowhere leads
That's
to
right.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you.
Because I'm shutting it down. All right, Kevin. Your turn.
Okay, so if I'm coming up to the plate and the plate is called the home plate. So my walk-up song would be "Mama, I'm Coming Home."
Hey,
That's a good one.
As I come up to the plate. If I'm coming out of the bullpen, then it has to be "I Am Iron Man" from Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, Iron Man's a great pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
coming out.
The bullpen door or whatever, the gate swings open, and you're coming in there. I am Iron Man. What could be better than that?
I know. For a
You
walk-up song on the plate.
Yeah.
War pigs.
War
Okay,
Pigs is
okay.
good coming out of the bullpen there.
Well, walking up to the plate.
Oh, see, Kevin had "Mama, I'm Coming Home" for his plate walk up.
That's right.
My plate walk-up would be War Pigs. My bullpen would be Road to Nowhere.
Yeah,
I was seriously, Ryan. I was looking at that song because the name strikes fear in it because it's a road to nowhere because I'm going into the game. So I could really see that as being a selection.
Also has a great guitar riff in the beginning.
It does.
Oh yeah.
Right. All right, Kevin, we're gonna let you go. Again, enjoy your happy hour with the missus on National Tequila
number 55.
Day.
I didn't reveal it.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Reveal the number 55.
Okay, so number 55. This is a real easy selection for me, and that's the Bulldog, Oral Hershiser.
Oh, great pick.
Great pick.
Right, because I'm a Dodger guy, and I actually saw this guy pitch, in person. And he still, to this day, holds the record for the most consecutive scoreless innings. He was absolutely. We talk about Tim Lincecum and the postseason that he had, but he had the most dominant postseason I've ever seen in 1988. And he was the NLCS MVP. He was the World Series MVP. He's the reason why the Dodgers won that World Series. And he was also the ALCS MVP for the Indians about 10 years later.
That's right.
Yes.
He was.
That's what I remember is Oral on the Indians at that time. Yeah.
That's right. So even though he wound up on the Giants somehow, he's still because I saw this question the other day was what was the best pitcher of the Dodgers you ever saw? And obviously I never saw Sandy Koufax, so I can't pick him. Yeah. And Oral Hershiser was by far the most dominant Dodger pitcher I've seen.
That's a great pick. I'm surprised you didn't go Kevin Brown. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Kevin.
We punch a wall.
No, I like my hands too much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, we're gonna let you go. But before, again, enjoy your night with your lady and your on National Tequila Day. Have a nice margarita. But before we do that, let people know where they can find you.
Well, they can always find me on Twitter at Kevin62 WILSEA. And when we get together, the Seahawk Sessions show, we do that every week. And on Sunday nights, of course, Vince and I do the baseball show. Then on Tuesday nights, rather, we have the Belly Up Fantasy Live football show. You can always find articles from me. I dropped one just the other day because I looked back and saw who I thought were the fantasy baseball first half MVP, rookie, Cy Young, and least valuable player. So you can always find my articles on the Belly Up website, and so check me out.
All right. Well, you're our summer MVP, Kevin, for coming.
I appreciate that.
With us. We appreciate you, friend. Desi does as well. She says, "Have fun. Have fun with the missus."
With that margarita.
Yeah, man, looks refreshing.
Yes.
It's hot today in New York, upstate New York.
Just to drive it home. There it is one more time.
Well, there you go. Thanks, Kevin. We appreciate your time, my friend.
I appreciate you guys having me here.
All right. Thanks again. All right. We're going to have a quick ad read. Then we're going to talk about the rest of our time. NFL news, Hulk Hogan, obviously passing. We're talking about our favorite athletes to wear number 55. Before we do that, I'm going to try something new here.
Ooh.
and try to bring up Royal. I did it! Yay!
Oh man, that
Yay!
looks nice, man.
Look at that. All right. Royal Retros is our sponsor for this edition of No Credentials Required. Remember when jerseys were bold, mustaches were majestic, and shorts were criminally short? Good news. Royal Retros is here to bring that vintage back. That vintage magic back. Chafing not included. They've got retro style football, baseball, and hockey gear that screams, I was born in the wrong era, but I dress like a champion. Rock a jersey so old school, people will ask what time machine you stole it from. Here's what you're going to do. Head to royalretros.com. Use promo code CREDHEAD at checkout, and you get 10% off your order. That's CREDHEAD, CREDHEAD, because we'll know you're a fan of the show who dresses great, but they're you have even better taste in throwbacks. Royal Retros, because your fandom should be loud, proud, and at least 60% polyester. And we're going to feature one of the items that's currently on merch at royalretros.com, and it is they just added this gear very recently. Roller Hockey International, the Anaheim Bullfrogs.
Oh man. That looks awesome.
Yep. The Anaheim Bullfrogs were members of Roller Hockey International from 1993 to 1997 and Major League Roller Hockey in 1998, returned to RHI in 1999, their final season. The team won the RHI championship in 1993 and 1997. They won the MLRH title in their only season in that loop. The Bullfrogs boasted the league's best attendance in RHI, but folded with the rest of the league in the 1999 season. They're one of the legendary teams of that era, that Roller Hockey International era. Look at that. Look at that logo.
Oh man, that's nice.
That is super nice.
Yeah, it's got that 90s feel, you could see it.
Yeah, it does. That's when roller hockey really started to try to get a foothold on the growing popularity of ice hockey, and they were starting leagues. And of course, we all know how these smaller leagues do. They just, unfortunately, they don't last very long, especially in the 1990s when everybody had money. But that's a cool logo. And you can get yours at royalretros.com. Again, use promo code CREDHEAD at checkout. You get 10% off your order, and you help out the show a little bit by ordering some stuff. So go ahead, order stuff from there. You'll enjoy it. I've got some gear from there. I enjoy it as well. Julie from Michigan checking in saying, hi,
Julie. How are you?
Great to see you in the chat. All right, we're going to continue tonight's discussion. I heard about this yesterday. ESPN is reportedly in talks to purchase not only NFL Network, but also NFL Red Zone. I've got my thoughts on this. I sent this text to Dustin yesterday while I was getting my tribute burrito to honor Ozzy Osbourne, because Ozzy Osbourne, he loved him some burritos. And that was well documented on the Osbournes when they had that reality show. But ESPN, when I saw this yesterday, I tweeted it out. I said, give me one positive. Give me one positive as to how ESPN purchasing NFL Network and Red Zone is a good thing.
I can't find one.
Neither can I.
I can't find one, because if this was the ESPN of the late 90s and the early 2000s, or the early 90s, and I get it, that's the era of ESPN I grew up with. That's when I was watching SportsCenter every night. I was in the ESPN bag. And it's not to say that I hate on ESPN now. I like to watch PTI as much as the next person. I watched most of Around the Horn's run. And I stuck with SportsCenter for a very long time. And I used to listen to a lot of ESPN radio. But the problem is that ESPN has gone away from their personalities, and they've tried to make all of their shows. They've bet on a few key personalities, Stephen A. Smith and McAfee among them. And they're putting all their eggs in that basket. The only person that I think brings his own feel to his show now, and it's because he's one of the only ones left at the network, they basically, it seems, have given him creative control, is Scott Van Pelt. Scott Van Pelt is the holdover. But if ESPN buys Red Zone, it's in the NFL Network, they're going to homogify it. They're going to ESPNify it. They're going to have their rules. This regime of ESPN is very keen on coming in with their rules. It's why Levitard's not with the network anymore. Love or hate Levitard, he brought in a lot of people, and he left and did his own thing because they wanted the Levitard show to follow certain formats. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Or it was something like they wanted him to fire one of his longtime employees on the show. And he's like, I'm not doing that. So I'm leaving so I can hire who I want. I could do the show the way I want. So they lost Dan Levitard because of this. And I feel like they would do the same thing. They'd have Scott Hansen brings his own feel to Red Zone. I know there were DirecTV devotees that loved the Andrew Siciliano version of Red Zone. I'm a Scott Hansen guy. He's the option I started with. He's the option that I've known. And I just have this bad feeling that if ESPN acquired Red Zone and the NFL Network, they would homogify it. They try to bring somebody else in to quote unquote assist Scott Hansen. He doesn't need assistance. He has his own. He has one of the best production crews in the business. They do it every Sunday with very, very few snafus. And NFL Network, I mean, Rich Eisen, I think, is returning to ESPN, so that's a positive.
Yep.
But NFL Network still, they have their own talent over there that I enjoy watching from time to time. And I just feel like ESPN would try, for lack of a better term, they'd try to ESPNify everything. And I think networks with different feels are good. And I'm not throwing shade at ESPN. Do I think Fox Sports is much better? They have their own problems right now. But I just don't want everything to feel the same. ESPN has lost its personality.
So apparently I'm looking at a report from on3.com, and they mentioned that the potential deal comes as ESPN is soon to make its programmable available in a direct-to-customer product. ESPN coined it as, quote, the next era. It is set to cost $29.99 a month. So unlike I just saw your face.
I'm sorry. It was a real reaction.
Your reaction.
It was a real reaction. Because I knew they've been teasing this new era, but I didn't know what it was.
That's a clippable moment right there. Yeah, like you said, Dustin, I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing. That Scott Hansen's going to be left behind. They're going to bring in somebody who either has no connection to NFL Network or no connection to football whatsoever. And yeah, they're going to ESPNify it. And I just see this kind of coming down the road too. I think, well, you talked about Pat McAfee being one of the personalities they bring in. He's had some clashes, publicized clashes with ESPN management. So I don't know if he's going to be there for that long. I think they're going to let his contract ride, let it ride out, and then don't renew it. He'll go back to where he was before, whether it was, I forget, it was DraftKings or Barstool. Forgot which one. I think it was
DraftKings. I think it might have been DraftKings, but
or
I don't
know.
Or FanDuel. Oh, okay.
One of those two places where they're trying to bring in personalities themselves. I think I remember it was Underdog. Underdog had a deal with they had a deal with Bill Belichick before he went to UNC, and that Matt Patricia was going to host like a coaching show with each other. They're going to do a coaching show together, and he went to Belichick went to UNC, and Patricia went to Ohio State University. So where he's the new defensive coordinator, he takes over. But yeah, it just seems like ESPN is trying to acquire as many deals as possible to kind of take over the sporting landscape. They want to be the network to go to. They're called the worldwide leader for so many years before they got any real competition, and they see they've seen the future, and they figure, and I'm going to bring this into this conversation too. Stephen Colbert is not going to come back to the Late Show.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to end the Late Show altogether. So I think what's happening is that a lot of these networks, a lot of these big, mainstream so-called legacy media, they're trying to catch up with the times. And this is one thing that ESPN / Disney / ABC is trying to do. They're trying to catch up with the times because everybody's going to digital, and people are cutting their cable, and they figure, you know what? Let's cut the middleman. We'll just offer our product $30 a month. You get this, and this. You get ESPN Plus. You get, I don't know if ESPN Plus is included with the next era or not, because I know ESPN Plus is like $80 a year. I used to have ESPN Plus, and I stopped it altogether because the cost kept going up. It was $40 a year, then it went to $50, then it went to $70. I don't know how much it is now. It's got to be at least $75 a month, because you get a lot of those. You get NHL, you get MLB, NHL, you're gonna get NBA soon because their NBA deal goes into effect this year with NBA and NBC's coming back. Basketball. They're also going to be on Amazon. So you're trying to see ESPN kind of move in, and I wouldn't say monopolize everything, but they're trying to make a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Because they realize that a lot of your viewers are switching over to exclusively digital, which is why you're seeing all these late night shows canceled, because partly because they're not doing comedy, they're doing in my fair view of things, they're not doing comedy, they're doing propaganda. And late night's not funny anymore. So late show's gone. I've heard Kimmel's next. I've heard Jimmy Fallon's next, because they can't seem to, and Seth Meyers has just laid off his band. So you'll see in a lot of these comedy shows, they're losing to digital, and ESPN's trying to get ahead of things, and they're trying to make their imprint and say, okay, we're going to offer a one-stop shop, $30 a month. You get NFL Network, you get and you get NFL Red Zone. So I think they're trying to get ahead, but at the same time, it's like, this is not a great idea. I wish NFL Network and NFL Red Zone would kind of reconsider, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it leaves me, I mean, I am one of the fossils that still has cable, because for me, cutting the live sports is what keeps me on cable. And if they're essentially going to force me to go digital to get all the stuff that I already have with cable, I'm not going to be happy about it. You know, it's the lay of the land. But if ESPN does this and it's the only way that I can get NFL Network and Red Zone, I'm going to pony up for it, because I want Red Zone. Peek behind the curtain for me, Ryan. Red Zone is very important to how I do the show and how I prep for the show. So I need it.
Yep. And ESPN is no great network as it used to be, because it used to be in the mornings, you wake up, you watch SportsCenter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you watch the overnight until about, I'd say, like 9, 10 a.m. And then they catch up with the rest of the news and the rest of the overnight. And then you get talk shows for only a little bit, and then you go to SportsCenter again at 6, and then they play, then they have the game or whatever. But right now, it's just all talk. And the primary network, you've got Get Up, then you've got the show with Stephen A. Smith, then you got Pat McAfee, then it just keeps going, keeps rolling without any real sports news. But then you got ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPNU, so many ESPNs. It's like
they have essentially turned ESPN News and ESPNU at times into a channel that just plays 30 for 30. That like my DVR is always packed with 30 for 30s. Now I love them. They're one of the positive things that I think ESPN has done, but the genesis of the idea, love him or hate him, the genesis of the idea was started with Bill Simmons and some of the people that followed him to the ringer. He's not even at the network anymore, and they're still using his idea, you know. So
yeah, have you noticed on the 30 for 30s, and every single 30 for 30, he's listed as an executive producer.
Yep.
So even though he's been gone from ESPN for several years, almost a decade at this point.
Yeah.
He's still listed on credits. He's still getting those royalties. Some comments before we go to our next topic. Julie says, it feels like ESPN is trying to monopolize the sports media industry, but ESPN feels like reality TV these days. So this is a terrible idea. Desi agrees. Horrible idea. If it ain't broke, don't mess with it. And hey, Desi, coming down the road, if the SEC and Big Ten split off, create their own thing, guess who's going to be coming for them? Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Mm-hmm.
4-letter network. Julie saying, true, more people should follow this advice. Julie so far with the comment of the night, why would anyone watch a show with Matt Patricia? That's the real question.
Oh, man.
Someone's very, very bitter about Matt Patricia as Detroit Lions head coach. And understandably so. He was not a great head coach. She probably wants to. Never mind. I'll keep it in my head. Keep it in your head, Ryan. Inside thought. Inside thought. Not safe for air. Does he saying, I like shows with personality like ours? That's what makes them different. And she also says ESPN will tamper with it because they can't help it.
Yeah. The only people that can get away with it, like I said, Scott Van Pelt has enough power at that network that they can come in and try to meddle, and he could be like, no, I'm going to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says like the show, it's Shannon and Skip.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they no longer work together. Shannon's on ESPN. Skip is still at Fox Sports 1 for now. Mm-hmm. If it still exists in a couple of years. By the way, Dustin, what's the last show what's the last show you've watched on Fox Sports 1? What's the last thing you've watched on Fox Sports 1?
I can't even tell you.
That's what I
thought. Yeah.
Your Uncle Al checking in saying, I stopped watching ESPN when it turned into a bunch of shows with people arguing.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't mind it when it was just Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon doing it, because that they do it in a way they were first, and it was an original idea back then, and now everybody's just doing the versions of that.
Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for entertainment, that's like, sports talk without all that filler and all that those dumb topics or trying to get clickbait, come check out our show. Subscribe.
Oh yeah, our show, and subscribe to the Belly Up YouTube channel as well. There's something for every flavor over there.
Exactly. And Julie says, whatever it is, Ryan, you're probably right. I'll tell you on Discord, Julie. All right, we're gonna move quickly. I'm gonna touch on this quickly because like I said, I pretty much suffered whiplash the entire day because of what happened earlier in the day at Jets practice day two of camp. Justin Fields getting the news that I'm watching the Jake Asman show. Well, listening at work while I'm working, and they break down. They talk about how Justin Fields has some goals for the year, and during the clip, you start to get news on social media that Justin Fields went down in Jets practice. He's being carted off the field. He's being he's being driven to the medical facility, and Jet fan, myself included, we started getting PTSD. We started getting in our feelings because we've seen this show before. We saw this show before 2 years ago on September 11th, 2023, when Aaron Rodgers went down the fourth play of the game and suffered an Achilles injury. Then we see Justin Fields. We heard about him going to the medical tent, getting his shoe off. Then they cart him over to the medical facility to get x-rays and MRIs and whatnot. And every Jets fan is just thinking the worst, because we always think the worst with this football team. Haven't seen the playoffs in 15 years. Have only had one 10-win season since 2015. Haven't even gotten close to the playoffs with all the disaster that happened in the last season. We thought we were going to probably touch the Super Bowl, but didn't happen. Bringing in a new coach, bringing in a new GM. They got a new philosophy. They got a winning philosophy. They're positive. They're not arrogant like the last regime. Then this happens, and you think, oh, man, not again. Got to rely on time. We got to go make calls to different GMs, try to bring another quarterback in, try to bring in a veteran. Is Kirk Cousins in the conversation? Is Jameis Winston in the conversation? Some of the quarterbacks that are free agency, you don't want them anywhere near your camp. Then about an hour later, after things were ablaze, Aaron Glenn gets on the lectern at One Jets Drive and says, look, I'm going to put it to you straight. It was a toe injury. And I'm just like,
I heard a clip. He said that someone likely stepped on his foot on a quick rollout or something like that.
And there are theories about who. Every Jets fan has a kind of a prevailing theory about who stepped on his toe, because it was his right second toe. So it wasn't the big toe, which is a good thing because you need that toe to push off. And the Jets came out this afternoon and said, "Hey, just give a heads up on a medical update. Justin Fields suffered a broken second toe or dislocated second toe. He's day to day, and he's being evaluated." I'm going, oh, thank God. I breathe a sigh of relief, and I'm like, woo. So, yeah, needless to say, Jets fan, we were in our feelings for a bit today, for a little while, for about a good part of the morning, finding out what's going on with Justin Fields and hoping for the best and preparing ourselves for the worst, because we could have thought it could have been a Lisfranc injury, it could have been another Achilles, it could have been an ACL tear, because it was considered it was initially reported it was a non-contact injury.
Oh man, that makes it worse. But
then Aaron Glenn says, yeah, his toe got stepped on in practice by somebody, and we weren't really. And there's a prevailing theory that it was stepped on by Michael Clemens, who's becoming universally the most hated New York Jets defensive player by fans because of what happened last year with Jermaine Johnson going down and him filling in until Hassan Reddick got signed, and he was swiftly replaced. So we really don't know because we don't have film to see what happened.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy that QB1 won't have to practice. We'll probably won't at least practice for the rest of the week, because Sunday's always it's always an off day in training camp for every team, unless you're preparing for a game. But yeah, he probably won't practice tomorrow, probably won't practice Saturday, and probably could come back on Monday. So basically it's a big sigh of relief as far as I'm concerned as a Jets fan. I'm pretty sure universally every Jets fan is also breathing a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for you. I'm not even a Jets fan. You all know which team I follow, but still, no one wants to see that, because I was excited to see what Justin Fields could possibly do, because I felt like he got a raw deal in Chicago, and man, I'm excited to see him run a little bit. But when you texted me that he got carted off, I said, oh, hopefully it's just, I thought to myself, hopefully it's just a DK Metcalf card off situation, because that clinch walk wasn't going to make it. I will continue to reference that for the rest of my life, because that's one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen. Yeah. It was a terrifying moment as a Seahawks fan. We're playing Julie's Lions in these shootouts that the Seahawks and Lions have gotten into over the past couple of years, and all of a sudden we see DK getting carted off out of nowhere, and collectively Seahawks fans are losing their minds. Find out after the game, you just had to poop. Happens.
Julie saying, I hate him so much, in terms of reference to Matt Patricia. And Desi saying, dodged a bullet there, Ryan. Yep, definitely did. All right, we're going to move on to our last topic of the night, our second to last topic of the night. We're paying tribute to the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, also known as Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
We found out today, and this is actually another part of the whirlwind of my day. Again, I whiplash from all this sports news talk. Hulk Hogan passing away at the age of 71. It's reported he died due to cardiac arrest or heart attack. I'm not sure which, but man, we did a review of Mr. McMahon, the Netflix series, back in April, and Hulk Hogan was a big part of it. But even outside of wrestling, he still had a tremendous impact on pop culture as a whole.
He did. Yeah, he did. You can't argue with it. Now, there's been a few things that have happened in Hulk Hogan's personal life that I think in a lot of people's eyes dinged his image a little bit. I even have to admit, I look at the Hulkster differently than I did when I was a kid. But everybody's human. Everybody makes some mistakes. The Hulkster, he made a few. And, a lot of people like to say, oh, he's got his own narrative of everything that happens. He likes to put himself over. whether you love or disliked Hulk Hogan, almost anyone who was a kid that grew up in the 80s or a wrestling fan in the 80s, I was a little Hulkamaniac. I when he was telling me to say my prayers and eat my vitamins, I listened to him. And to me, the red and yellow stood for everything good. You know, he had a huge impact on pop culture, Ryan. He was in movies. He was universal. Eric Bischoff has been very vocal on his own show, 83 Weeks.
Yep.
The reason he wanted to bring Hulk Hogan in is because when people think of wrestling, they think of Hulk Hogan and no one else. If you don't know wrestling, you don't think of Shawn Michaels. You don't think of Triple H. You don't think of all the Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even he's probably the closest in stature to Hulk Hogan, where people outside of wrestling know who he is. But nobody, I think even the most ardent Hogan detractor would argue he is the biggest draw in professional wrestling, the biggest reason for professional wrestling going mainstream. He was the horse Vince McMahon needed, and he went mainstream. He crossed over, enormous impact on pop culture. And to say nothing with his quote-unquote second big run with the NWO. Those three guys revolutionized. They started the Attitude Era. They really did. Yeah. So, I mean, just a titan of his sport. And one of those people, again, I thought he'd be around forever. Also, he looked pretty good for 71.
Yep.
You know, he was... So, I don't know. And he was just getting prepared to start a new venture with Eric Bischoff surrounding amateur wrestling. So, I mean, he was still trying to do things. And after all those surgeries and everything, his body breaking down, his legacy's a little more complicated now, for sure. But as a little kid, I loved Hulk Hogan. Another fixture of my childhood gone. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, my childhood and teenage years are taking major shots this week. Put it to you that way. And this one was just this one hurt probably the most of all. Not because, I mean, because he's been a part of my life in entertainment and in pro wrestling. I watched pro wrestling not religiously when I was a kid, but it was like one of the things that we enjoyed watching, my brothers and I on Saturday mornings and Sunday afternoons, and sometimes on Monday nights watching primetime wrestling on USA when we had cable back in the day. But even before he joined WWF and Vince McMahon, they launched into a different stratosphere with bringing professional wrestling to the mainstream. He was in Rocky 3.
Yep.
He was Thunder Lips. He was in that charity match with Rocky Balboa, and Rocky telling him to take it easy. He's throwing him out of the ring, and just they fought to a draw. And after that scene, in that scene, when he said at the end, he's like they're shaking hands and they're like you didn't really know it when you were a kid that wrestling was a work, like everything was a work between the good guys and the bad guys, and like they didn't travel together in those days. Like the good guys and the bad guys, the heels and the faces never traveled together because they wanted to keep that disbelief. You know, and then that moment with Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan getting caught for speeding in New Jersey, and then hear about them smoking a doobie in the car.
Oh yeah.
That blew up in their face. But between his years in WWF, breaking into Hollywood, becoming a big deal with his movie No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny,
Suburban
Commando, Thunder in Paradise, the TV show he had before he went to sign with WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't. You knew him not just from wrestling, but from different aspects of the culture, of popular culture, because he was the first professional wrestler to really take it into the mainstream with being in movies, being in music videos, making television appearances.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Saturday morning cartoons, the superstars. Yes, even saw his image on a ice cream bar, which I never get to had when I was a kid. We never had the WWF ice cream bars when I was a kid. I'm still mad.
Oh man.
So,
Ryan, did you ever get to eat at Pasta Mania?
no, I didn't.
I didn't either.
But then you saw his revival in '97 at Bash at the Beach when he became the third man of the with the Outsiders with Nash and with Nash and Hall, another guy who we lost in recent time as well. Scott Hall, he's gone.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be a relaunch of his career. You would say now it's a rebrand, but him turning heel was just a pivotal moment for professional wrestling, period.
That was on the national news, Ryan. I remember that. People, they were talking about it, and it was like the first time that you really saw anybody in the mainstream media talk about, to my memory. I mean, I know MTV had that whole rock and wrestling connection and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little before my time with pro wrestling. I really started watching during the new generation, but when Hogan switched and turned heel in the NWO at the 96 Bash at the Beach, that was on the news the next day. That's how big it was.
And I had to correct myself. It was in 96, not 97. So we're coming up on 30 years.
Yeah.
That happened. Crazy. Then you had WCW being bought out by WWE, and you're wondering, wait, could Hogan come back to WWE? And they did. Sure shooting. WrestleMania 18, that epic wrestling match with The Rock as Hollywood Hogan in Skydome in Toronto, that he put The Rock over. And that's when The Rock became, we already knew Rock was a huge thing, but that match really started to set him apart from everyone else in the Attitude Era. And then him turning face that night, and he was in WWE for a while, then he left and went to TNA. And those years were kind of forgettable. And then you had the scandal with him being caught on tape on a how can I put this, on an adult relations tape, blurting out racial epithets, to which I think Eric Bischoff said that he was drugged out of his mind at that point because it was on painkillers and alcohol. He was an alcoholic for a very long time. That was one of the things I did not know about Hulk Hogan, was that about his struggles with drugs and alcohol. We all know about the steroid trial. Yeah, about how you had to admit that I was on steroids. I was telling kids to take vitamins and say your prayers and train, and I'm taking shortcuts. With the exception of probably Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, everybody was doing it back in those days.
Yeah.
And then leading up to like the kind of latter years of his life, where he started that real wrestling thing with Eric Bischoff. We don't know what the future of that's going to behold, but Kurt Angle's involved apparently as well. Another guy who has made a comeback, a turnaround in his life. Started Real American Beer, which I actually had one at the Arena Football Championship. It's not half bad. I didn't realize it was light beer. Oh,
I didn't know that either. No.
Yeah. And then he turned his life around. Last year he got baptized, was part of the church, was part of his local church, and had businesses down in Florida where he lived. And to see him, this was probably all the deaths we've had this week in terms of celebrities and entertainment. This is by far, to me, the most shocking, because like you said, Dustin, we thought Hulkamania was going to rule forever. And I mean, he does, he's still with us in memories and on television and all those moments, but the person himself is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still shocking. It's another one like Ozzy. You just thought, and all three of the deaths that we've referenced on the show this week, unfortunately, Malcolm Jamal Warner's is shocking just because of how young he was, tragic, and Hogan and Ozzy. You just thought those two were going to be around forever, in spite of everything. we knew some things about Ozzy's diagnosis, but he he seemed indestructible. I can't describe it. I don't know how to describe it, but Hulk Hogan felt the same way, especially because he didn't look 71. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We got some comments in the comments, more comments in the comments section. Julie saying 71 is pretty young, honestly. Yeah, same. I was pretty shocked when I read that this morning. Yeah, as was I. Yeah, like I said, I've had whiplash all day between the Justin Fields injury, and Hulk Hogan getting hurt. And my day at work, it was just a whirlwind today. Does he saying Hulk Hogan was an American icon, part of American folklore? Absolutely. And she also says my dad still pulls out the red and yellow Hulkamania shirt. Yeah, that's for sure. Your Uncle Al saying, I'm still reeling over Chuck Mangione. Chuck Mangione was, I think, 84. So, yeah, not a young man, but also, yeah, I mean, a music legend. Yeah. He also says, and yet Keith Richard continues on. Yes, I understand he underwent the quickening, so he's going to be with us for a while.
He's
Terrible
Keith
joke.
Richards is indestructible.
Oh my gosh. He's going to outlive everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. It'll be a nuclear holocaust and he'll still be alive. Oh, I might.
Yeah.
When's the show start? All right. Go ahead.
He was the inspiration behind Captain Jack Sparrow.
These are facts.
Yeah.
These are facts. All right. To close our show, we're talking about our favorite athletes to wear the number 55 because this is episode 55 of 2025, the year of our Lord. And we are revealing our favorite athletes to wear the number of the episode as corresponding with the episode number. So this is number 55, and we're going to reveal our favorites to wear the number 55. Dustin, take it away.
I'm going to go first. This one's going to be kind of a quick one. I was trying to think of who wore number 55, and then it came to me. And this is the first athlete on this list where, yes, I watched him play some, but his impact to me is more of what he did outside of the NBA, and I'm going Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe Mutombo, man, I loved his finger wag. I remember when he was blocking stuff, he's basically saying in a very polite way, get that out of here, because Dikembe was a polite man. And you love his story of coming from Congo, pretty much. And he didn't start playing basketball until late, if memory serves, and he just really showed an aptitude for it, particularly on the defensive side. I have lauded about it before. Video games have had an impact on some of these picks. Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest is some of the reason why I loved some of the players that I've already referenced. Well, basketball is no different. Dikembe Mutombo, I always picked teams with Dikembe Mutombo on them because he was a blocking machine. And he was in real life as well. The finger wag is iconic. Dikembe Mutombo's work off the field is as important, or off the court rather, is as important as anything he did on it. Dikembe Mutombo, always very philanthropic, trying to build hospitals in his home country of Congo. He donated lots of money, had a foundation, if memory serves. Dikembe Mutombo, a mountain of a man on the court, and made a huge impact off of it. He passed away, I believe, was it last year?
It was this year.
Oh, it was this year already. Yeah. Wow. And he's sorely missed, and he's one of the ones that it's weird. I just felt like Dikembe kind of defied age. He aged very well. So I just felt like he was going to play forever. And then when he retired, I just felt like he was going to be around forever. It's one of those things. Dikembe Mutombo to a lesser degree than Ozzy and Hulk Hogan and Malcolm Jamal Warner, but he was also a part of my childhood. And it's just showing that we are getting older, Ryan. But number 55, Dikembe Mutombo is the pick for me.
I love Dikembe Mutombo because he was a soft-spoken guy, but when he talked, He sounded like Cookie Monster with an African accent.
He did. There was a
no.
There was a commercial in the 90s that I can't remember. and like there was, and I'm not trying to, I swore I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it. So he was looking at the clouds and he's watching, and I think it was for, I can't remember what it was for, but I think it was for a soft drink. And Dikembe Mutombo and somebody else are looking at the clouds, a commercial, and they're kind of saying, I think that looks like this. I think that, and all of a sudden Dikembe Mutombo asked for a root beer, but he did it in like his voice, you know, and so it was like root beer, you know, and I love that so much.
Your Uncle Al checking in saying 55, number 55, linebacker Brian Kelly of the New York Football Giants, Super Bowl champion 86. Actually, Al, Brian Kelly played with the Giants from 73 to 83. Gary Reasons wore 55 for the Giants' first 2 Super Bowl appearances and played a key role in the 1990 NFC Championship game where he carried that fake punt that led to the game-tying field goal in that game. So,
oh, geez. Look at this. The big brain here.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Come on.
Oh man!
And Al says I hide my head in shame.
So, all right, let's make it a thing right now. All right, here we go, Ryan. We're gonna ring this. Now I know Uncle Al's not much of a beer drinker, but still, if he would indulge us and go to one of the trivia nights that happen at breweries, you, myself, and Uncle Al on a trivia team, who's stopping us?
No one. We're gonna do this every round. No. Every round we win. My number 55, and Desi's got her usual Alabama Crimson Tide. She's got that Bama in her. She's got her 55 in the chat. My number 55 is none other than the New York Yankees, Hideki Matsui, Godzilla.
That's a great pick. Great pick. He was someone I considered strongly.
Yes, and 2-time All-Star, won the World Series in 2009 with the Yankees, was also World Series MVP because he played out of his mind, especially in Game 6 where he hit those 2 home runs that basically brought the series home for the Yankees. Started his career in Japan, his native Japan, played with the Yomiuri Giants for 10 seasons, because back then you were required to play 10 seasons before making your eligibility for Major League Baseball. So from age 19 to age 28, he played for the Yomiuri Giants and was considered one of the best hitters in that league until he decided to try to test his waters with the Major League, which he did, signed with the Yankees in 2002. And in 2002, 2003. In 2003, he won second place for Rookie of the Year, hit 16 home runs, and had 106 RBIs and 42 doubles that year. I didn't realize he was a doubles machine back in the day. Was named an All-Star that season, also in 2004. And in 2009, didn't put up too impressive of numbers, but again, in the World Series, that's when he made his mark. 28 home runs and 90 RBIs in 2009. Trying to figure out his batting average 274. So not too impressive, but he was a 5-tool player. Had a great arm, great fielder, power hitter, hit for power, got on base, and was a really good base runner. So the biggest crime of all, though, with Hideki Matsui is that after 2009, when he won the World Series with the Yankees, he was not offered a contract to come back. Wound up signing with the Angels. So he played with the Angels. Then he played in Oakland. He was 35 when he helped the Yankees win the World Series. He was 35 years old, and then the Yankees decided not to re-sign him. So he went to the Angels, played a season there, then played in Oakland for a season in 2011, then concluded his career in 2012 as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. Played primarily DH, but his major league numbers: 175 home runs, 249 doubles, 1,253 hits, was a lifetime 282 for Major League. But between his average, his power, his acumen behind the plate, and here's a fun fact about Hideki Matsui. I remember this from the Yankeeography.
Mm-hmm.
When he was playing in his native Japan when he was younger, they actually, because he was so good at the plate, because he hit right, he used to hit right-handed. He was so good behind the plate that his schoolmates, his school teachers made him switch to lefty, and he was even better.
Wow.
That's how good of a hitter he was when he was younger, and it just continued to go on when he played with the Yomiuri Giants, which led him to get a big contract with the New York Yankees to make his major league debut, and had a decent career. I'm not sure if he'll get in the Hall of Fame. I hope that he does, based on his numbers in Japan and in the major leagues. But for my money, Hideki Matsui, he's my favorite to wear number 55.
He's a great pick, and I think I mentioned a couple of shows ago, I saw a clip of him on social media. Looks like he hasn't aged except for one gray streak in his hair. That's about it. And he crushed the ball. Wherever he was, he hit a moonshot. So Hideki Matsui's still out there doing it.
You know what he also crushed? Playing the triangle. Do you remember that? This is the ESPN back in the day when Kenny Mayne was on, and Kenny Mayne, one of my favorite ESPN Sports Center guys.
He was great.
He did a profile of Paul O'Neill, who played drums, and Bernie Williams. We all know, great guitarist, and an excellent center fielder. And like they kind of did like a very cheeky profile on the both of them, but they also not parodied, but they profiled Hideki Matsui's acumen with the triangle. I'll have to find that and send that to you. Before we get out of here, Desi, of course, again, she's got that Bama in her. She's got too much Bama in her. She says number 55, Cole Mazza was a long snapper for the Crimson Tide during their 2015 national championship run. The fact that he is little known means he did his job right. He played for the Birmingham Iron after graduating before he signed with the Chargers. In college, he missed only 2 games due to injuries and had 583 snaps without an errant snap. I don't know if it's me or if it's just me, Dustin, but I think Desi's trying to turn us into Crimson Tide fans.
I think she's trying. I think she's trying.
And your Uncle Al saying the Trio of Doom. Yeah, we would crush everyone in trivia.
We'll show up in NWO shirts, Ryan.
We will hear the lamentations of their women and take all the prizes. All right, before we get out of here, we've got a little bit long tonight, but that's okay. You know, we had some good segments and whatnot. Uncle Al saying "High Tide." That's not what it is.
Oh yeah, that commercial.
He's gonna get yelled at.
I forgot about that.
It's Roll Tide, not High Tide.
Then the guys bringing. Well, there's that commercial,
right? High Tide.
And then there's that commercial where he brings cooked duck to an Oregon Ducks game.
Oh yeah. And Desi with the last comment of the night saying "Roll Tide, roll." All right, we're gonna get out of here. Before we do that, just want to remind you that we'll be back on Tuesday with our final installment of No Ticket Required for the year. We're going to be reviewing Remember the Titans from 2000, based on a true story. Of course, it's going to be Disney-fied. But, so I had something going on Saturday, some construction at my house going on Saturday, which is why we had to switch to tonight, because Dustin couldn't commit to tomorrow night. He's got Seahawks sessions. I got Total Football Talk at 5:05 tomorrow. So we're both busy, so we had to commit. We could do tonight. So there you go. That's why we're recording on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now you know. I was supposed to mention it at the beginning of the show. I never got a chance to. But anywho, before we get out of here, just want to remind you to follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for us in No Credentials. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and on Podbean. And then hit that notification bell on YouTube and on Twitter. That way you know when we're live. That way you know when show clips go up. That way you know when general show announcements go up as well. And also on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, all that fun stuff. You can find us on any podcast platform. Rate, you can always rate. You can leave a review where you can, and also on Spotify. Leave us a comment. Also on Belly Up Sports, the YouTube channel, the Belly Up YouTube channel. Leave us your favorite Hulk Hogan moment. Keep it clean. Also keep it positive, because I've heard some comments today about people dancing on Hulk Hogan's grave, which is not cool.
No, it's not. No.
So, yeah.
Rip would not be happy about that.
Ooh, Rip. All right, we're going to get out of here, but thanks for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need to press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Again, we'll be back on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, to review Remember the Titans and talk more sports. Until then, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
Wait, night? Huh? What?
Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Oops. I forgot when this was coming out.